And I hate the fatherless behavior trope because if you actually know women, the women that be getting dogged the most are the ones that grew up with a healthy father in the home. And even as somebody that dates women, I can tell if I'm on thin ice with a woman and when I will be based on if her father is in her life and the role he plays in it. The truth is, women that were grown up with a father in the home that was toxic or not all the way present, they know the truth about men early on and also about relationship dynamics. They're not really looking to be dogged. And this is why their freedom is then weaponized against them. They don't mind leaving a man to go get another one. They don't mind leaving you alone if you're not doing what you need to do. They don't mind being in relationship with another person and being seen in that relationship because they know their value is within them, not within a body count or who they're seen next to. Now, the women with fathers in the home that have played an active and positive role, they kind of have these rose lens glasses of what love looks like and of men in general. A lot of times they hold on to relationships that they shouldn't hold on to for superficial reasons like maintaining their value or keeping their body count low. And
this is why getting your dating information as a woman that dates men from a woman that wants to be a man, it's insane. And this is why. Now, everything she said wasn't wrong, but the way she's framing it is absolutely wrong. So let's first start where she's absolutely wrong. And then we can get into the small part of her being right, the sentiment of her being right. When it comes to being wrong, this woman thinks, one, that a body count doesn't matter. These are the people with the worst relationships in the whole entire world. The reason why she's saying that, because from her view is like, your body count doesn't matter to me. Most of that is because you cannot impregnate a woman. So it really doesn't matter. This is why you don't get your advice from them, women or ladies. If you get your advice from her, it doesn't even make sense. Of course, she has no stake in that fight. It doesn't matter if her woman sleeps with 1,000 men. To her, because she could never get her pregnant. You never have to worry if the kid is yours. Ever. So why are we talking about that? She doesn't understand that. Also, if a woman, the greatest thing that a woman can give up to a man is her body, to sleep with him. So if you've done that over and over and over again, you cannot say that you then value yourself. That will be counterintuitive. Right? So you can't say that you value yourself, but then you go give yourself to everyone. A woman that will value herself will not give herself to anyone. So she don't even understand that she made that mistake inside there. A woman that grows up with a father, she's automatically assuming that all men are dogs, or just the vast majority of them are just dogs. Now, what she's saying is that, all right, if all men are dogs, that means that the women that grew up with a father, a good father, are going to end up being with a dog, because mostly all men are dogs, if not all. So therefore, she won't understand that she needs to go outside and go be with more bad men instead of the one bad man, because that makes absolute sense to her in this clip. If a woman goes out and she has a relationship with a decent man, which I believe most men are decent, most. I think the vast majority of men that they're talking about is the men that have multiple women. So it's one man that's traumatizing multiple women. It's no reason why one man should have 10 kids and other men are incels. It's impossible. That doesn't even fathom. There's no reason why Future or NBA Youngboy can have 10 plus kids by like 9 plus women. There's no reason why Stephon Diggs, that's his name, Cardi B's boy toy, whatever that want to be, should have 4 women pregnant in 1 year. And that's just the women he got pregnant. It's no reason that should happen. While we all know a good man that doesn't have a woman. When I say a good man, I mean a decent human being. So once again, if you automatically start from all men are bad, then you will automatically have to say that, all right, well, obviously the good woman will end up with the bad man. Now, are there women that are decent, that grew up with a decent father, that end up with a bad man and end up staying in that bad situation just because she doesn't want to be outside, or if they have kids, or if they have a marriage, even though that's what your vows say, but you have a marriage. What she's forgetting is just that people that tend to have good fathers don't be in those relationships. Because one, the father is not going to allow it. Because a woman that grew up with her father, a good father that she looks up to, she would listen to him, and he has authority over her. So therefore, he'll see the little boys that she's like, no, not a good one. Or women of that stature, the ones that don't go out and sleep with everybody, they have a healthy fear of their father. They know who they can bring home and who they cannot bring home. The men she's talking about is a present father. Yeah, you can have a present father, but he can still be a bird. He can still be a coward. The mother probably runs the whole entire household. He's just, yes, dear, happy wife, happy life. That's not a father. That's just a male. You have a male in your house. When we're talking about a father, a one that is masculine, one that leads, their daughters tend to not do that because they have to come and they have to face their father. So when you see the grown women that look at their father still as a father, they don't talk back to their father. They look at it like, nope, can't do that. I can guarantee you those are the women that you'll see in healthy relationships with men because the father going to look at them and be like, that's a husband. And he'll let it. He don't have to be perfect. As women try to think like, he don't got to be perfect. Y'all can have y'all problems. But he not kicking you down the stairs. He going to take care of his business. He going to take care of his kids. He going to take care of you. He going to do whatever he have to do. But he doesn't have to be perfect. She thinks that women should go out there, sleep with everybody, and then be in different relationships. So not only be with one bad man, because if you're the person, the type of person to make bad decisions in picking men, her answer is for you to go out there and pick more men. Because that always works out good. If you are the type of person to be in bad relationship after bad relationship and you go into another relationship, the likelihood of that other relationship being a bad relationship is extremely high because you don't know how to pick men. And it's probably based on being you not knowing how to pick men and you sleeping around and you being detached from the person that you actually sleep with. So if you can be detached from that, that means you have no dog in this fight. That means you can go outside and do whatever you want to do, however you want to do. And if you can just go outside and do whatever you want to do, however you want to do, then you don't care about the situation that you're in. You have no dog in that fight. You would rather just get up and just go instead of try to make something work with somebody that's good. This is where you get to the place where everything has to be damn near perfect. And if it's not perfect, then I'll just get up and go because you're so comfortable with doing that. That is not a flex. That is not something good. That is actually something bad. But she doesn't understand that. Because the fatherless women, the women that don't have fathers, are making the world such a better place by giving the minority of men sex that's bad and end up becoming baby mamas. The women she's describing are the baby mamas. So who is actually stuck with these type of men? Is it the women that have fathers and come from a family? Or is it the women that's out there sleeping with everybody, doing what they got to do with their tongue out and a long weave and saying,
Stand beside a man that is undeserving of them because they want to live up to what they saw represented in their household. They want to be like their mom who stood next to their dad. They want to believe this man can live up to and to become their dad in the role he played in their life. They're way more trusting of men. They give men benefit of the doubt easier. They don't want to see what the truth that's right in front of them. They're also more lenient in giving chances. They've probably also seen this done by their mother. So even the models that they have is not one that is always rooted in resilience and self-respect. What's been modeled for them is sacrifice for a marriage, oftentimes at the expense of the female partner or the wife and the mother of the household. When they start dating, this causes a lot of them to be highly invested in men that they should have never even been committed to begin with. I find women that come from homes where the father was not a good person or wasn't there see men as humans. They're not this big ideal, and they understand that there's plenty of them to go around. They understand that men are inconsistent and can leave. They understand that men don't always practice what they preach. They also understand that women can have their own sense of independence and agency, especially if they were raised by a woman who raised them by having to use those two things.
To have a man inside of the house and for you to have a father and your mother dealt with a man and that man is an actual father figure, that is always going to be better than a single woman. The way that she's praising single mothers as if that is the belle of the ball, she would have to explain why most of the criminals, most of the people that do the most heinous crimes come from single mother households. Most of the women that's out there doing drugs and doing those type of crimes are come from single mother households. Most. They're not coming from two parents. The likelihood of you doing good in life can be dictated solely on how you grew up, right? And if you grew up with a two-parent household and a good father, a decent father, keep in mind, there's a difference between a male and a father. You grew up with a father, you are 10 times better than all the other people that's coming out without a father. And that's for male and female. That's not only for women. So that goes for both. So to say that, no, it's better to have single mothers, then you would have to compare the time period where there were active fathers and there were single mothers. Now we have single mothers. Is it better than it was before? We have more technology. We have more freedom. We have more of everything now. Are families and women happier today than they were 7 years ago? The answer is a profound no. So although, just keep in mind, it's not to say that the past was perfect. This is the thing that they put inside their head. And if they understand feminism the way they should understand feminism, you're getting your idea of feminism from people that were in the Epstein files. That's your idea of feminism. And you think that these people created a world for you. You think that whatever they push to you to have her mindset, whatever they push to her, this is what the world is supposed to be because they're doing things for women now. And you're sadly mistaken and sadly fooled. Women back then didn't even want the things that they had today. They were forced into it. And this is not just me saying that. This is a fact. They asked women to vote for this, vote for these freedoms that they had. Women said no, because that comes with whatever they're going to have to pay for now, which they are paying for. That comes with that. And they said, I don't want to do that. There's too much to balance. There's too much responsibility. They said they didn't want to do that. So what did the feminists do at that time? They took away women's right to have something to say, to vote on that. And they gave it to them anyway. Because these people that are in the Epstein files, the ones that push this propaganda to make women think like this is the best idea for you, benefit from you being a degenerate. When it comes from stem cells, from them taking from the fetuses that's, let's call it thrown away, just to avoid the word. When it comes to these people with the fetuses that's basically thrown away from these women, they use those stem cells and they use it in vaccines and all this other stuff that they use your fetus for. They want you to get rid of your fetuses. Of course, it sounds crazy till you start looking at it. And if you look more into the Epstein files and other places, you'll realize that this is what they really want for you to do. They want you to work because they can double the tax revenue. What would they do if women was just at home? Why would we want you at home? We need you to produce. We need you to slave. So of course we're gonna make you get out there and work, because if you gave somebody the option to stay at home and chill and not have no debt, women couldn't even accrue debt. That means anything she spent on a credit card or anything had nothing to do with her. 100% herself. Now who owns the most student loan debt? It's not men. Now who spends more money? Who drives all the consumer products? It's not men. So not only do you have you out here slaving for them to pay the taxes and get extra housing or whatever it is, they have you slaving, and then now you have to pay taxes. And now you're the number one consumer, and then now you're on top for the debt. They raked everything in there, and they said, come here, baby, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. What? Feminism, come. You don't need all this stuff. What's wrong with you? You don't need no man. Do it by yourself. I'm gonna get you a job. Make you work. You gonna have that baby? Nah, I don't have that baby. Throw that baby away. We need that. We can use that. And you sitting there dancing, thinking like, yeah, feminism. I'm doing good. I don't need no man. Okay. And let's see how that work out for you. It's not working out good. I can guarantee you that. These people poisoned your mind. And the only way you can get somebody to do that is to say that you're being hurt in some type of way. So now the answer to you being hurt by men, of course, would be to go out there and be with more men. That's the answer. The answer to that is for you not to have help with anything. It's for you to do it by yourself. That makes more sense. The answer is not for your kid to have a father, and you should pick right to have kids by. Don't do that. That's stupid. Give us your kids. Let us do what we want to do with your kids. To the prison systems, to the polls, to, let them do whatever we want them to do. You don't need a father. It's stupid. You can do that by yourself. And she think everything she's saying makes sense.
To bring up young lives. Oftentimes, the behaviors we actually assign to the fatherless women are the behaviors that women with fathers subject themselves to because of this heightened importance they have towards men due to having a positive male figure in their life and not being able to differentiate the fact that that isn't necessarily something that's a right. It's honestly a privilege to have, and that is not the norm amongst men, unfortunately. And when you get out in the world, the truth will hit you in the face like a brick, and many of them aren't ready to accept it.
That is so. She said all that to come back and say that it's a privilege to have a father like that. It's just that your mindset is going to be warped to the other men. Not that you've seen what an actual man is and an actual male good figure is, and you will look for that in the men that you date. It's not that. It's that you'll get all that good stuff and you'll be so coddled and so happy with that you're going to just go outside, deal with any man, and then every man else, because most men are bad. So, and every other man is just going to mistreat you, and you're going to accept it because the male figure that you grew up with, you're going to no longer like that. You're no longer going to be looking for somebody like that. That's going to not make sense to you. You're going to look for the opposite. And the women that did not grow up with a father figure, that have no idea what a man is supposed to do with them and how a man is supposed to treat them and what a good father figure looks like or a good male figure looks like, they're going to go outside and they're going to be so great at it that they can find somebody. And if they don't find somebody, they're going to get up and they're going to just go to the next person. And eventually after 20, 30, 40, 50, 70, 100 encounters, it doesn't matter because that don't matter how much people you give yourself to. It's asinine. You should feel comfortable to do that. And after you pick that, you'll end up with some Prince Charming because the same women that raise their kids, this is one thing I want the women to understand. If you raised your son and your son brung home a woman that had no father figure, that was out there in them streets, that's ready to throw him to the side at any given moment, that's outside with her cheeks out, and she done aborted 4 or 5 different dudes' kids. She's out there, she's chilling. That's the woman you be like, yeah, son, get that one. She can have a dog in the fight because she can't have a kid. So of course she's going to say everything she's saying because it don't have to make sense for her because she has no dog in that fight.
I made a TikTok and I said, I wish I had a dad. Here's the thing. Here's the real truth. As you get older, y'all, I promise you it hits different. Because when I was a little girl, I promise you I never really thought about the fact that I didn't have an active parent. It wasn't something that was really on my mind. And I also think that it wasn't something that truly bothered me. But it wasn't until I got older and I realized that certain patterns that I have, certain behaviors that I have, especially in my previous relationships, has stemmed from not having an active father. And then just simple things as craving intimacy and things like that. Sometimes it's not that you just want a man. Sometimes you just need a dad. Like, sometimes it's that you really just need a male figure to affirm you, to love on you, to pour into you, to teach you about life, to teach you wisdom, to teach you about finances, credit, like things that you just miss out on when you don't have a dad. I feel like you just can feel it more as you get older. And it's so crazy, but it's just...
And that's the lie that they give people. The lie that they give people is that fathers are not important and women don't need no man. No, you need one. And the reason why you say that is because you never had one. And your mother never showed you exactly what it is to have a positive man. So you think that you should emulate her. So the same way you grew up without a father, you will want the same thing for your children. Although you know it's some pain inside of your heart for that father figure, for some male love that you just can't get from anywhere else. And it starts with a father. So I'm glad she actually came out and said this out loud, because other women will act like this doesn't even matter. As much as they say, I don't need no man. Okay, maybe you don't need one, but what about your kid? These are not the women that come from good homes. If you ever go, I met thousands of people, thousands. I'm not talking about thousands of people in passing. I mean in person, shake hands, stuff like that. Thousands of people and going inside their homes. This is not, I'm not talking about a conference and stuff like that. I'm talking in their homes, right? You go inside these people's homes and you see the homes without a father and you see the homes with a father night and day. It's not even close. And then their outcomes for their children, night and day. When you see a kid and the kid is acting super duper crazy or doing crazy things, robbing, stealing, shooting, on a pole, selling themselves, whatever it is, I can guarantee you can look at it and be like, yep, highly doubt you have a father. And I don't care if it's a male in your house. I'm talking about a father. You don't have one of those. And you can kind of tell. So when a woman says that, I don't need any man, sure. Even young men, you need a man. You need a father figure because they don't. Those are the ones that end up in jail or dead. And the women is the ones that end up on the pole or selling themselves.